What up, y'all, and welcome to Kansas Speedway for the 11th race of the 2023 FBRL Napa Truck Series season. On pole in his one-off start on the year for S3 Motorsports is 9-time series winner Ryan Butcher. For the 4th time in his Napa Truck Series career, he's got Vince Freeze lined up alongside him. In row 2 is Tib Foster and Sony Cup Series legend in the making DJ Curtis. Row 3, AJ Jones. His pole streak snapped this week. He's got Aria Carmona on his outside in row 3. Doug Lockrow in the 65 this week for Catlin Downey Incorporated has runner-up from last year's race here, Bob Burns, with him in row 4. And then you've got Nelson Reeves and William Brock rounding out the top 10 in row 5. Brock in the 17 this week for Shark House Performance in what is essentially a 4th Coyote Autosport truck. Brock, fresh off his 2nd win of the season last week at Talladega. James Shelley will drive the number 1 this week for Coyote Autosport as part of a deal arranged by both teams at the beginning of the 2023 season. We've got 90 laps on tap here today. Last year, this was the only race where Chevrolet got the win, so fitting that they had a driver get the pole. Eric the Max there in the 8th for Breeding Enterprises is the one who got the job done. As you see Luke Martin deep in the field here this week. Rough qualifying go for Luke. That's only the 2nd time this season that Luke has started outside of the top 10, I believe. Potentially incorrect on that, but definitely his deepest starting position since the Nashville Fairgrounds race. There you see the 29 once again driven by Will Goss. We've seen Goss start in the back in every race he's done so far, but that has not stopped him from getting good finishes for the team. He got 12th at Homestead and 3rd last week at Daigle. We'll have to see if he can get it done once again for the team. And making this race on provisionals, Justin Johnson, Jacques Anderson, Toby Christie, and Blake Warren. Christie and the number 71 team using their final provisional on the year. Let's go trackside here at Kansas for the command to fire engines.
Drivers, start your engines.
So in last year's race here at Kansas Speedway, it came down to fuel mileage that determined the winner of the race, with Jesse Turner pitting, coming to the white flag. He had dominated the race, short on fuel. You're going to burn a lot of fuel if you're leading here at this track. Not a lot of lift time early on in the run, but up to 2.4 to 3 seconds of tire fall off at the end of a 30 to 32 lap run. 90 laps of action once again here today. Michael Miller was fastest in practice with a 30.047. Clear sunny day here at Kansas Speedway. 88 degrees, a little hot. Fans better stay hydrated as we get into the summer months of July and August, and we've already been through the summer month of June. Ryan Butcher, as mentioned, leads him to the green flag for the 4th time in his Napa Truck Series career. Just the 6th driver to have won 4 pole awards in Napa Truck Series history. And the green flag is out here at Kansas Speedway. Side by side for the entire lap. Tib Foster going to make it a 3-wide battle for the lead down on the apron. But Vince Freeze with a good run through the tri-oval will take the race lead as they're now 3 by 3 behind him for 2nd and 5th place respectively. Kansas is a high-speed track. Here you see them doing about 180 into the corner, but see there on the overlay only lifting to about 167 right now. And draft, much like all the other cookie cutter tracks, gonna be huge in the Napa Truck Series here, regardless if you undercut or overcut. Especially if you overcut, you're gonna want the draft. As Vince Freeze currently leads them. Remember, Freeze got his first win back at Road 1, still going through his substitute role for Jordan Fisher, who is getting better every week, from what we've been told. As now DJ Curtis going to challenge Vince Freeze for the race lead. It's a Napa Truck Series race with two Sony Cup Series drivers going for the race lead, and a Hardee's National Series driver in the form of Ryan Butcher behind them in third. Curtis drove this truck for Freeze Racing Team at Road 1. Attempted Dubai, did not make the show. This is his third and final attempt for the team, and Curtis was locked into this race thanks to the win James Silverfox got in this truck back at Richmond, and Curtis giving it another great run at Road 1, solidified that further, and now Curtis looking to solidify James Silverfox's last attempt for this truck at Memphis in what is 4 races from now. So early on in the going, but it's the DJ Curtis in the race lead at his hometown track. As now Tib Foster looking to challenge Freeze for second place. Freeze going to clear him though into turn 1. And for now, Vince Freeze holds on to second place. We mentioned on the grid Doug Lockrow in the 65 for Gatlin Downing Incorporated this week. A move made by the team owner to get this truck its best chance to get into the show. This truck's been down in go home qualifying with Al Bunch and has failed to qualify for a couple of races now. So executive decision by the team to put Lockrow in this truck. Lockrow drives for Gatlin Downing Incorporated in the Hardee's National Series and had 3 races scheduled already on the year to drive for Breeding Enterprises. So we'll see Lockrow at the next 2 races in the number 8 truck for Breeding, as Lockrow will drive that truck over in Italy and New Zealand. So Lockrow getting a bit of a warm-up here with Kansas Speedway, and he currently runs in 7th place. Looking at the number 39 Revolution Racing Mitsubishi of Peter Onjak. And this is Peter's first start for the team this year. He was originally scheduled to be running the truck at Homestead, but his injury from the Sony Cup Series Daytona 500 prevented that from being possible. So Onjak making his first start for the team here in the Napa Truck Series this year. Currently racing side-by-side with fellow Mitsubishi driver Nelson Reeves at a Team Velocity. Now Mitsubishi, they had a rough go last week at Talladega. An engine from every team expired at some point during the race. The 15 of Jerry Cook was wrecked out, went for a heck of a ride. Glad he was okay and able to qualify for this one. And that left just Nelson Reeves and Vince Freeze trying to go for the win for the Mitsubishi camp at the end of Talladega, with Freeze getting 10th and Reeves failing to finish inside the top 10. So a tough go for Mitsubishi camp last week, but Peter helping Revolution Racing rebound here, as he currently runs in 7th place behind Reeves and Freeze. So 3 Mitsubishi, 1 from each team currently inside the top 10. And of course, got to mention Peter Onjak, owner of Onj Auto, that team shutting down at the end of the year, maybe hoping to rally his troops here by being in the field and put the pressure on him. As you see, Bob Burns currently running in 10th place. Burns finished 2nd here last year to Eric the Max. That was one of 2 second place finishes in Burns' 2022 season, and those have been the only 2 second place finishes of Burns' career. He got his other 2nd place last year at North Wilkesboro, and Burns, man, in what is his 85th start in the series, is looking for that first win. Could today be the day? I mean, track record from last year shows that he knows what he's doing around this cookie cutter mile and a half. And so far this year, best finish of 3rd twice. Got those finishes at Homestead and Boston. So could today be the day for Bob Burns and the Jersey Mike's Toyota of Anjada. They are racing it up just outside of the top 10, and Aria Carmona is going to get into Huck Davis, nearly spin him down the racetrack, but Huck gathers it up, able to get right back on the track, and now he's the one behind Aria Carmona, and man, you better hope that that 36 truck doesn't decide to maybe get a little payback there, but Huck saved it, so hopefully he'll just try to pass Aria back here, and that looks like that is what the driver of the 36 is going to try to do. But a scary moment there on lap 15. You see Brandon Beal in the 84 for Single Z Racing this week. Beal been doing a pretty good job in the Hardee's National Series for Spartan Motorsports. As making another start for Single Z here today in the Truck Series, looking to gain more experience. Remember, before this year, Beal had never run full-time in any of the 3 series. Was originally slated to run full-time in Sony Cup, but got moved down to the Hardee's National Series and has been doing that since I think like the 2nd race of the year or something. So Beal doing pretty good here right now, currently in 14th place, battling for 13th with Huck Davis. So we'll have to keep an eye and see how Brandon Beal does throughout today's event. Battle for the championship continues to rage on. Ace Wild gained another 10 points on Luke Martin at Talladega. The deficit is now down to 24 points, but another driver that gained a lot is that 88 of Bradley Bishop Jr. And BBJ has his deficit down now to 25 points. Luke Martin finishing 18th, got just 3 points for his efforts at Talladega. And now with the poor qualifying effort here at Kansas, you can see him back there in the distance. He is currently running in 23rd place, so knocking on the door of getting inside the top 20 is Luke Martin. As Ace Wild now currently racing side by side with Peter Onjak. Nope, Onjak's going to drive right on by him. That's for 8th, and Bradley Bishop Jr. is going to drive right on by in his draft and take 9th. So Ace Wild losing 2 positions there. That'll drop the number 30 truck down to 10th place. Got to point out, a little surprised that James Shelley, from where he started, has been unable to really drive forward. You know, Jesse Turner was up at the front battling for the win in this truck back at Homestead. But Shelley just has not been able to move forward. See him currently behind teammate Glenn Mixon, who's had a lot of inconsistent runs this season. But James Shelley, man, veteran of the Sony Cup Series, he's been inconsistent recently in the Sony Cup Series as well. You know, he won a good number of races last year, but was inconsistent otherwise. And that has continued this year in the Sony Cup Series in 2023. So that seems to maybe be transferring down here in his one-off attempt for Coyote Autosport. And it's also, I think, maybe a product of the track, because I'm seeing a lot of people make their gains on the outside line right now, and that one truck just can't seem to make the passes on the top and then goes to the bottom and loses positions instead of gaining them. So James Shelley currently not doing so hot. See if he can get better here on the upcoming pit cycle. We're on lap 30 of 90, been green flag race so far. This is the first lap of the pit window, so could expect to see some drivers come down pit road here. But it is a 2-stop race. And DJ Curtis currently leads it over AJ Jones and Vince Freeze, and it looks like Curtis will be the first one to pit road. Not a big surprise considering he has been leading for pretty much this entire run. Now the question is, will anybody else pit with him? Yep, Dewey Schramm III, Roberto Crown Jr., and James Shelley are all going to come down here on lap 30. Now that's going to be big for these 3 of the 957 in the 1, because that let them fly right on the pit road. And they're going to gain a lot of spots here with the undercut, so we'll be interested to see how much of that they maintain over the course of the second run. It looks like AJ Jones and Vince Freeze will lead the second group in. Nelson Reeves, Peter Onjak going to stay out along with some others. Glenn Mixon, Luke Martin, as it looks like almost everybody else is going to pit. Saw Austin Runkle, Bradley Ream, and Jerry Cook also elect to stay out, but everybody else is in. And oh, there's trouble here. Michael Miller and Benjamin Snyder have gotten together, and Benjamin Snyder it looks like he's stuck on the apron, and Nelson Reeves is about to come in here to pit. This might draw a caution if that 55 truck hasn't moved by then. And all right, the truck is gone and the lights stay off, so we stay green as everyone else is gonna pit here. So 7 trucks on the overcut, 4 on the undercut, and then the other 31 trucks come in the middle. You see Luke Martin gonna be on the overcut. Not a bad strategy call, running just outside the top 20. With so few drivers on the overcut, one thing that you'll likely see here is Luke should be able to come out of pit road about where he was running on the track before the cycle began. As wow, Austin Runkle actually had a better stop than the 28. He's going to be side by side with Luke here, as Nelson Reeves will lead him off of pit road now. Tire fall off is up there, 2.5 to 3 seconds. But draft is super important here at Kansas Speedway. So Reeves looks like he's going to come out in, should be about maybe just inside or outside of the top 10. And he'll have to make sure draft is his best friend here if he wants to go forward. Just want to take another look at what happened. You see Michael Miller had to really stop on the track when he came in the pit, and Benjamin Snyder was so far behind that he didn't see it in time, and he just runs right into the back of Michael Miller. And that gave a ton of damage to the rear end of the 87 truck, and then the 55 stalled it on the transition. So that's going to hurt both of their races, and not what Michael Miller wanted to see at all. You know, that truck was fastest in practice, and while he was having a rough go at it there at the back of the field, was maybe hoping to make some adjustments, but now this team has damage to fix, and that's likely going to hurt their race. So the pit cycle is complete. DJ Curtis is still your race leader by almost 3 seconds over AJ Jones, as you see Curtis putting the 87 of Michael Miller 1 lap down. Miller with a elongated pit stop due to damage on the rear end of his U.S. Army Ford. And Curtis will clear the 87 here. 87 going to get a good run though off the corner, but you can see the damage kind of hurting that truck aerodynamically. That's going to allow Curtis to take the race lead. AJ Jones is by himself right now in second place, highest driver from that second group, but Bob Burns is looking to give chase in third. Talked about him earlier, finished second in this race last year, and it looks like they brought back another great truck for him. Not just him, but his teammate Edward Siemba as well. Siemba currently now up to 8th place here once he clears Roberto Crown Jr. Now to talk about the undercut, look at Dewey Schramm III. Dewey Schramm III is currently running in 5th place, racing for 4th with Bradley Bishop Jr. Now, he was not inside the top 10 before the cycle began. Neither was Roberto Crown Jr. Roberto Crown Jr. had it up to 7th. He's lost 2 spots since, as Siemba and Reeves go by him. But I don't even think Roberto Crown Jr. was inside the top 20 before that pit cycle began. And then the last driver we talked about, James Shelley, you know, was struggling. He was just outside of the top 20. He's got his truck now up to 13th. So that's the power of the undercut for y'all when not a lot of people pit first and you're able to just fly in the pit road. The trucks that Shelley's racing around, they had to really hit the brakes going into the pits because they had about 5-10 trucks in front of them. So great gains here for James Shelley. Now, as far as the overcutters go, we saw Nelson Reeves up here running in 9th place, 4.6 seconds back. So you can see Reeves still lost about 6 seconds from DJ Curtis pitting first 2 laps earlier, as what is going on right here? They're almost 4 wide trying to get by Benjamin Snyder. This truck looks really off pace, and I'm hearing that they're gonna park him. The truck just does not have the pace to keep up. That he got put almost in the wall there by these guys racing 3 wide for third. Bob Burns, Bradley Bishop Jr., and Ryan Butcher racing it out right here for third place. What a battle. BBJ going to clear. Burns tries to clear down in front of Butcher, can't do it. They'll continue the fight side by side. Ryan Butcher, 9 wins in Napa Truck Series history for him. Currently sits tied with Luke Martin, who's got 2 wins on the season. Martin still looking to get that 3rd win and take the record away from Butcher, but maybe Butcher's got a shot to get the 10th win here today instead and take that record back for himself. Be the first to get 10 wins in series history. Would be quite the accomplishment for Ryan Butcher, despite him never winning a championship down here in the series. But Butcher got a win in the Hardee's National Series last year, has yet to visit victory lane back. Maybe a win here today would be a good momentum booster for him in his full-time duties up in the Hardee's National Series. Now back to the overcutters. You see Nelson Reeves in 7th. Now he's down to under 4 seconds behind Curtis. Peter Onjak also on that strategy. Now the next highest driver is the 38 of Glenn Mixon. You see him currently running in 14th place. Then you've got Luke Martin in 18th. Austin Runkle was in 20th, but that time by at the line, it's Will Goss. Now, I talked about it on the grid. Will Goss, he's started at the rear in every race, but he finds a way to drive forward on whether it's strategy, patience. You know, very talented driver here in the number 29, and this is not Silver Fox Motorsports' best truck. They don't really put a lot of funds into this truck, but James Silverfox won in it at Nashville. DJ Curtis had a shot to win in it at Richmond, and Will Goss has done some great things in this truck despite some poor qualifying efforts. So Will Goss, very good in the race, looking to get this team some more points. Final 2 drivers on that overcut group were Jerry Cook, who currently sits in 25th, and Bradley Ream, who's right behind him in 26th. So that's an overview of the strategy right now. Drivers that are not having a good day: Malik Nevins, Eric the Max Man, the guy that won here a year ago for Shade Benyako Racing. Just not having it. The Max has ran 3 races already for Breeding Enterprises. He has 1 more scheduled. I think it's at Michigan. It's at Michigan or Memphis. I can't recall which, but it's at one of those tracks, and he's just not having a good day. And William Brock, not having a good run either, sits in 29th. He's been mildly inconsistent this year, but he's also had a ton of good runs, so hopefully they can find a way to get back up towards the front. You see Aria Carmona back here. She qualified in the top 10. She has not had a good race. You see Austin Rogers, JD Martin. And then our provisional drivers that made it in on provisionals: Blake Warren, Toby Christie, Jacques Anderson. They are all down here outside of the top 30 man. Blaze McKinney's not having a good go at it. Neither is Aiden Smith, Sean Ard, and Ben McDonald, man, is about to go a lap down. DJ Curtis catching up to him. Now, because Curtis is here in the middle of 2 lap trucks, the draft around this truck is helping keep him ahead of what is now almost, I think, it's about a 16 truck line that is going to start to try to draft up to him. You can see AJ Jones back there in the distance. Gained the 10th that time by. If all of those trucks that have, you know, fresher tires than Curtis can start working together, they could draft their way right up to these 3. And Curtis likely knows that, probably wants to try to get by Ben McDonald here. He's got a good run coming here off of turn 4, going to go to the inside of the 13. Another 2/10 for Jones that time by, but McDonald is not looking to pull over for the race leader. He wants to try to stay on the lead lap in case something happens. You never know when a caution could come out here in the Napa Truck Series, and McDonald's going to hold on and defend his position of staying on the lead lap. Curtis going to try to make another go at it here down the tri-oval. Miller giving some draft. Miller now looking to maybe make it 3 wide. That time by, Jones gains 0.3 of a second, and now if you're the race leader, you're getting frustrated. You know, he's racing to stay on the lead lap, but if he's the first one a lap down, he could get the raise up award. And then AJ Jones is hauling. And McDonald is not pulling over, so it looks like it's just a matter of laps until the field catches up to DJ Curtis. Well, Eric the Max might not be having a good day, but he has set the fastest lap of the race with a 29.966. That's faster than the lap Michael Miller ran in practice. Also faster than Michael Miller's lap is Aria Carmona with a 30.040. But it has happened here on lap 54. AJ Jones and the rest of the field have caught DJ Curtis, who's been unable to pass Ben McDonald. Michael Miller, though, still right there behind the 91. So now Curtis going to get another good run off the corner. Miller going to try to follow him by, but drops to the apron. See him checked up a bit there. Jones going to go to the outside of Michael Miller. Now AJ Jones clears Michael Miller, and he's got a big run here off of turn 2. Going to go to the inside of Ben McDonald. Does he make it 3 wide to go for the race lead on DJ Curtis? Jones right up the bumper of Curtis, who has led a majority of the race. One thing DJ Curtis has not done is he has not won a Napa Truck Series race in his FBRL career. Probably one of the best drivers who has yet to do so. Curtis has 2 top 5s to his name in the series. As well as 2 top 10s. He's still trying to get by Ben McDonald. AJ Jones, Bob Burns now bumper to bumper behind him. This is Curtis's 4th start in his part-time endeavors in the Napa Truck Series over his Napa Truck Series career. He made his first start back last year. I think it was last year or was it 2021? I can't remember. But his first start came with Flipside Motorsports at Chicagoland, and that ended with him getting wrecked out. I believe that was last year, man. My sense of time has gone away. Anyway, Curtis got a nose on the 13 of Ben McDonald. But now Ben McDonald has a fellow Toyota, not a teammate, but a fellow Toyota, in the form of Bob Burns, drafting him here through the tri-oval. Jones has had enough. He's going to try 3 wide. He can't get it to stick. He has to check up. Jones had to check up. Now Burns is getting a run on the high side off of turn 2. Nelson Reeves going to go to the outside of Jones as well. Burns clears Jones for 2nd. He's going to keep it on the outside line. Going to try to pass Curtis on the high side. As we're going to be coming to lap 60, we'll be 2/3 of the way done with this race. Next time by at the start finish line, 8/1000ths of a second separates the 91 and the 70. And now Burns with an edge. Jones running the way low line there, pretty much against the yellow line in turns 1 and 2. That does not get him a great exit. And into turn 3. Bob Burns is clear for the race lead here at Kansas Speedway. As now Nelson Reeves is going to look to take second place away from Curtis Jones, man. Looked like he got really loose there when he dropped to the apron. He might have a problem. He just checked up a ton. He's going to lose 2 more positions here, maybe 3. And that 42 truck, oh, he's quick on the rebound. That truck fine. That truck be fine. Curtis and Reeves are fighting for second. But here on lap 61, maybe a lap overdue, DJ Curtis is going to come to pit road for his second and final stop of the race. Anyone going to undercut with him this time? Dewey Schramm III is going to come down again. Do not see Roberto Crown Jr. or James Shelley coming in this time, though. So just 2 on the undercut. We might see a 4th group develop here on this pit cycle. Bob Burns took the race lead away before Curtis pit. Now he's going to follow him in the next lap by BBJ, AJ Jones, Ryan Butcher going to follow the number 70 truck in. And a bit of a smaller group this time. Ace Wild, Roberto Crown Jr., Randy Riggs Jr., they're all coming in as well. See Josh Crash, Malik Nevins, Eric the Max, JD Martin, the Max and Nevins likely trying to gain some positions here on an undercut. Looks like the big group is going to be potentially group number 3 this time. Nelson Reeves is going to go another lap, and it's going to be the lap down trucks of Michael Miller and Ben McDonald leading in Edward Siemba, Tib Foster, and Vince Freeze. Shelley, Mixon, Lockrow, Will Goss coming in. Now this is where things are going to get sketchy. Yeah, you see Will Goss had to check up for Jacques Anderson there on pit road. Austin Rogers, same thing with Aiden Smith. So Reeves goes another lap. He'll create the 4th pit cycle group. He'll bring it down pit road with Peter Onjak behind. Brandon Beal's actually going to go another lap. Huck Davis, Luke Martin, Austin Runkle, Jerry Cook, all coming in as well. So that leaves out Brandon Beal by his lonesome. So Beal going to have the best tires, or well, not best tires per se, freshest tires on the racetrack here. He's going to lose a good bit of time. I'm not sure where he was running, maybe just inside the top 20 or outside the top 20 here before this cycle. So I'm not sure how much time, or how many positions rather, he'll really have lost here, but he's going to be hauling regardless. So I think maybe a good shot, because of how important the draft is, Beal could have a good shot at getting this team some points. Y'all, we got ourselves a battle here right after the pit cycle this time. Bradley Bishop Jr., I don't know if his team had a great pit stop or if DJ Curtis's team had a bad pit stop, but Bradley Bishop Jr. pit 1 lap later than DJ Curtis, and he is right here on the bumper of the 91. I'm going to say it's the former, with BBJ getting a good pit stop, because BBJ followed Bob Burns in the pit road, and Bob Burns is another 2 seconds behind the top 2. So kudos to the Breeding Enterprises pit crew, giving Bradley Bishop Jr. a heck of a pit stop, and now he is right there on DJ Curtis, looking for the race lead. As you see, Luke Martin now holds the fastest lap of the race with a 29.930. Also got Austin Rogers under the 30-second mark with a 992. So these guys, they are hauling here compared to practice. So Burns sits in 3rd. Ben McDonald, who is still a lap down, is up here with the leaders. AJ Jones 4th. Michael Miller also a lap down, up here with the leaders. And you got Ryan Butcher looking for 5th on Dewey Schramm the 3rd. And then there's a huge gap back to 7th place for Edward Siemba. So we had about a 17 truck group there at the end of the second stint rather, excuse me. And now that has been more or less cut in half. So fighting for some top 10 spots back here in this second group, we're going to see Siemba, Tib Foster, Ace Wild. Nelson Reeves, man, is 6 seconds back with Probably the freshest tires near the front of the field, along with Peter Onjak. James Shelley with a shot maybe here to get a top 10. Glenn Mixon, Josh Crash, Randy Riggs Jr. Vince Freeze is down to 16th place. He was up there fighting for the win earlier. Now he is down to 16th. Look at what the undercut did for Eric the Max. It's got the A truck up inside the top 20. You see Luke Martin and Huck Davis. They're also a part of that fourth group with Nelson Reeves and Peter Onjak. So they've got really good tires. They'll be moving forward here most likely. Malik Nevins currently holds 20th place. Will Goss still 21st. Then you got Ryan Griffin, Roberto Crown Jr., and Austin Runkle all right here, running out this last group. There's Brandon Beal, currently 25th place with the freshest tires on the track, and it's got about a 2-second gap from him up to Roberto Crown Jr., so we'll have to see if he's able to gain a lot here or not, since he does not have the fresh tires here. William Brock, Doug Lockrow now at the back of the field. Everyone else is still struggling. Bradley Bishop Jr. is side by side with DJ Curtis for the race lead. And it has been this way for a couple of laps. That has allowed Bob Burns, AJ Jones, Ryan Butcher, and Dewey Schramm III to start closing the distance. BBJ still working that inside line on Curtis. Silly season is due to begin after this weekend, and nobody knows what the future could hold for Bradley Bishop Jr. You know, he dropped down to the Napa Truck Series this year from the Hardee's National Series. Longtime guy in H&S. Could we see Bradley Bishop Jr. go back to Hardee's? Could he make the jump, maybe finally, to run full-time for somebody in the Sony Cup Series? No one knows. A lot of information going to start getting released in the coming weeks as drivers and teams start making plans for the 2024 season. Burns now side by side with AJ Jones. Jones looking like he might try to go for the lead once again. Thought about another 3-wide move down there on the apron. Couldn't get it to stick once again. That puts him back side by side with the 70 as Curtis and BBJ are still fighting for the race lead. It'll be 15 laps to go here at Kansas Speedway, and it looks like we're in for another thrilling finish, hopefully this year, this time around. Fuel is not a concern. And now you see with the run there off the corner, Curtis is able to clear Bradley Bishop Jr. Now AJ Jones going to make it a 3-wide move. It's 3 wide for a brief moment as Burns will clear the 88 for second place. And now BBJ with the draft looking to clear AJ Jones. Can't seem to do it quite yet. Jones drops to the apron, and that'll give AJ Jones third place position. Battle is on for the race lead here between DJ Curtis and Bob Burns. "12 laps to go, and these two are side by side for the top spot once again. AJ Jones also looking to put his hat in the mix. He's going to make it 3 wide for the race lead into turn 1. Once again, though, that number 42 Wiley X Ford gets tight. He has to check up, and now he's drafting in line with the 70 of Burns. Coming out of turn 4, Bob Burns will clear DJ Curtis for the top spot here with 11 laps to go. Curtis, though, you know he's not going to pull over without a fight. Going back to the inside line is Curtis. Jones right up his bumper, though. Jones going to be looking for second place. Jones on the inside of Bob Burns. I'm sorry, AJ Jones on the inside of DJ Curtis. That's a blooper reel moment right there. And Jones looking to clear Curtis for second place into turn one. Can't do it quite yet. 10 laps to go now. If you're just tuning in here at the finish of this race, Ben McDonald, Michael Miller both a lap down. Benjamin Snyder parked from the event after damage caused by his contact with the 87 of Michael Miller. We're getting down to the end of it here. As these two battle behind Bob Burns, the second pack has started to close. Edward Siemba in 6th place, as Dewey Schramm III has been caught, and Nelson Reeves, who came out of pit road 6 seconds behind the leaders, has driven up into the top 10. Gonna take 7th here from his teammate, and Peter Onjak is right behind him. These two Mitsubishis are dangerous. They've got 2-lap fresher tires than the 70 and the 88. Same with the 42. Now the 80 of Edward Siemba, he has 1-lap fresher tires than these 3 drivers. And of course, DJ Curtis, we know, has the oldest tires out of them all, along with the 9 of Dewey Schramm III, but that is not stopping DJ Curtis. This truck has won a race before, and Curtis is looking to get it another one. Curtis on the inside of Burns, can't quite get it to stick. 7 laps to go now. Jones on the outside of DJ Curtis. You know Jones has the truck. If he can get clear of Curtis, make an attempt at it on the 70 of Burns, he might have a shot at it. Same with Bradley Bishop Jr. Ryan Butcher's just been kind of vibing here in 5th this entire time, watching the action unfold. Edward Siemba going to go to his inside, looking for 5th place. Jones clear of Curtis, goes straight to the bottom, trying to get in the draft line of Burns. That did not work. It checked up Jones big time, and Bob Burns is starting to drive away. Bradley Bishop Jr. looking to maybe make a 3-wide move, doesn't do it. They've got a lap truck up ahead. Jones now once again side by side with Curtis, as here comes Siemba and Nelson Reeves. They've got fresher tires than those in front of them. What can they do with them? Seems like the bottom's a tough place to pass, even if you got fresher rubber. They might want to try to get to the outside line if they can manage it. Curtis, with that outside line, with those older tires, holds off AJ Jones once again for 2nd place. Look at the lap down truck of Ben McDonald up on the top 3 wide, running the wall line, getting a huge run here. Maybe looking to get up here, help a Toyota teammate. They're not actual team teammates, but a manufacturer teammate nonetheless. Curtis continues to defend against AJ Jones as Bob Burns leads him here, coming to what'll be 3 laps to go. And the caution flag is out. The caution flag is out on the racetrack, and that's probably gonna end it. Coming to 3 to go, Bob Burns will see the yellow flag in what could be the end of the race. Could this be it? I'm not sure if they're going to be able to get back going. Last time we had a caution and the field took 3 laps to go was in last year's Daytona 200. And they were not able to clean stuff up in time, and the race ended under yellow. That could be the case here once again. If the confirmation is going to come right here, they're going to take 2 laps to go. If those pace truck lights stay on after he crosses the start-finish line, this race is over. And all Bob Burns will have to do is pace around to the checkered flag. Let's see, moment of truth. Will the lights go off? They are not. This race is over. We will end it under yellow. But we have seen mechanical failures before. It's never over until you take that checkered flag. Back to that same Daytona race a year ago, Kyle Vaughters for Team Velocity was pacing around the field in second place, and he blew a tire and dropped to the apron and stopped. So it is never over until it's over. Really quickly, let's see what brought out the caution to end this race. Well, even if you have the freshest tires on track, a lack of draft in front of you makes going forward impossible. From 24th place, the engine expires here on the 84 of Brandon Beal. And there are just so many trucks near him. Contact with JD Martin, and then Justin Johnson hits him, gets up into the outside wall, and that 08 took off. And then Beal's truck destroyed. Sitting in 1 and 2, Justin Johnson, man, he went for a heck of a ride. All 4 tires came off the track. That was quite the weird hit. But that truck is still operational, and Justin Johnson is driving it around the racetrack. So glad to see he's okay from that. That was a crazy hit. On board with Brandon Beal since the engine expired, and him and Justin Johnson, they went for a heck of a ride here. Look at the air the 08 got off the track, and then the 84's rear end came off the track as well. So they got some sticky stuff on the outside walls here, I guess, that let you launch the truck off of it when you hit it. Crazy end to Brandon Beal's race, and not the finish him or the team are going to have wanted. On the white flag lap here, I mentioned statistics earlier on in the race. Bob Burns got second here a year ago to Eric DeMax. That was one of 2 second-place finishes in Bob's season, which were also the only 2 second-place finishes so far in his Napa Truck Series career. His other second place came at North Wilkesboro last year. This year so far, his best finishes have been third, twice, Homestead 150, and then at Boston. Both of those races where he finished third, the winner was Luke Martin, kind of an unrelated statistic, but maybe it's worth mentioning later down the line. This is Bob Burns' 85th Napa Truck Series start. He has been here since it was the Napa Pro Series in 2019. He drove for backmarker teams his first 2 seasons, moved to Sanders Performance Autosport in 2021, did good things, got the call to Anjado, has been driving for them since last year, and for what will only be the second time in Napa Truck Series history, the number 70 truck for Anjado is going to win a race, and it's going to be Bob Burns' first career win. He takes the checkered flag here at Kansas Speedway. It has finally occurred. Bob Burns is a Napa Truck Series winner, and he's the 43rd driver to do it. Through those first 84 starts, 7 top 5s, 14 top 10s, a pole, 26 laps led, 9 DNFs, and two of those 7 top 5s, as mentioned, being second place finishes. In his 85th start, he gets the first win. He leads 14 laps, putting him up to 40 career laps led. It's his 8th career top 5 and his 15th career top 10. And this is going to be a big momentum booster for this team heading into the second half of the year. It's his 3rd top 5 and 6th top 10 on this season alone. And with Anjado shutting down at the end of the year, they're looking to become the only team to win 3 championships so far if they can get in position to do so. Burns' teammate Edward Siemba with a great race as well, with a 7th place finish. Siemba's had some quite awful luck this year so far. But enough about Bob Burns for now. Let's go through the rest of the finishing results. DJ Curtis, second place, man, on the undercut with all those trucks racing behind him with fresh tires. Got to give him credit for finishing in second. Finishing third, you got AJ Jones. Fourth place in his one-off, Ryan Butcher. That's actually a notable top 5 finish. That's going to break the tie with Luke Martin on the all-time list for top 5s. Ryan Butcher going to be the first one to have 23 top 5 finishes. That also breaks Butcher's tie in the top 10 category with Blake Warren. And Butcher will be the first to hit 35 top 10. So Butcher didn't win today. If he had won, he would have broke the 3 ties he has in the 3 main stat categories. Instead, he breaks 2 of them, which is still pretty impressive. Bradley Bishop Jr. rounds out the top 5 in 5th. Out of the drivers at the front of the point standings, he has the best finish. Nelson Reeves, 6th. Man, what might have been, if he had a shot to get up there with those tires, he looked like he was hauling. Edward Siemba, as I mentioned, 7th. Peter Onjak, 8th. Tip Foster, 9th. And James Shelley got it home in 10th by the end of the race. Dewey Schramm, the 3rd, 11th. Luke Martin up to 12th. He might have had a shot at a top 10 if he had a couple more laps, not sure. Vince Freeze, 13th. Ace Wild, 14th. So they're out of the top 3 in points. Ace Wild's going to lose 2. And Bradley Bishop Jr. is going to gain, I think it's 15 points. No. 8 points, I think. You think I know my own point system. Anyway, Huck Davis, 15th. Glenn Mixon, 16th. Josh Crash, 17th. Ryan Griffin, 18th. Randy Riggs Jr., 19th. And Eric the Max rounds out the top 20. Saw Austin Runco with some good strategy calls by the number 3 team. Gets him 21st. No points, but 1 spot short. Malik Nevins, 22nd. Will Goss, 23rd. I feel like Goss did everything he could there. The strategy just did not help that team move much further forward up the rankings. William Brock, man, I don't know what was up with that truck today. 24th. It's kind of crazy. See Doug Lockrow, 26th. Was in the top 10 early on, but just couldn't stay there for some reason. Roberto Crown Jr., man, I don't know what happened to him. He was in the top 10 with that undercut on the second stint, and they just didn't continue it, I guess, and they fell all the way down to 28th. That's a tough end for their day. Justin Johnson will come home 38th. I mean, he blew a tire on the white flag lap. Otherwise, he would have finished 31st, but no points involved, so nothing really lost there. And then that is the end of the results. So that is everything here for this afternoon. Congratulations once again to Bob Burns getting that first career Napa Truck Series win. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. We're going international this time of the year once again. And this time, we're heading to Italy to run the old Milano circuit. So expect some super speedway road course-esque racing around that long racetrack. And yeah, Bob Burns, your winner, and I'll see y'all in Italy.